Okay, Berurah Demar Dasra, we're continuing our Shir and Dishu B'Halacha. Today we are beginning on Reish Aleph Amid Aleph. We are going to begin Siman Shin Mem Zayin. Al Eza Haitzah Chayev Min HaTorah. On what type of Haitzah is there an Issa Daraisa that if you're over on this Haitzah, you have to bring a Karbachatas Midaraisa. So the Mechaber begins and the Mechaber says, Min HaTorah Midaraisa. Einoi chayev, you're not chayev. Ela k'sha'oiker chayfetz merishus hayachid. The only way you're chayev is you have to pick up something in the rishus hayachid. Literally, you have to uproot it from the rishus hayachid. V'hinichai b'rishus harabim, and put it down in the rishus harabim. Oy ibcha, or vice versa. I think it's very meduyik that the mechaber picks first on where you pick it up in the Rishus HaYachid and you put it out to the Rishus HaRabim and put it down in the Rishus HaRabim, because that indeed is the Av Malacha Midaraisa. That's why we call it Haitzah. We call it taking it out, because that's what's mentioned in the Pasuk. So he picks over here first on Haitzah, but he says very clearly Oy Ibcha, because the opposite, from taking it from the outside to the inside, is also an Issa Daraisa. It's not an Av, maybe it's a Tolda, but it's also an Issa Daraisa. Zok the Mishnah Berurah, a nice cut in Aleph. Ella, you're only chayev midaraisa. You have to have a complete malacha. You have to have an akira in one rishus and a hanacha in the other rishus. Says the Chavetz Chaim, why do you need this? Shezen nikra malacha shlema, because this is what's called the complete malacha of haitzah. She'aka achefetz merishus zeh, where you uproot a chefetz from one rishus, v'hiniach b'rishus acher, and you put it down into the other rishus. Aval, however, if you only do half of the malacha, or you do the complete malacha, the akira and the hanacha, but one person does the akira and the second person does the hanacha, then peturim, then they're both pater, but of course it's pater aval aser. It would be an issa d'Rabbanan. So the Chavetz Chaim told me over here two different isurei d'Rabbanan. One is if you only accomplish half of the malacha. So you make an akira in one rishus, but you never make a hanacha in the second rishus. That is also going to be nisa d'Rabbanan. Or if you do the akira and somebody else does the hanacha. So a complete malacha was done, but it was done through the actions of two people. That will also be nisa d'Rabbanan. Where do we know this from? Says the Chavetz Chaim, Shekain darshu Rabbi Seinu Zal. This is what the Chazal darshan Mikroi from the Pasuk Be'Perek Kamad de Shabbos. We find this drasha in the first parak of Masechta Shabbos and Av Gimel Amud Aleph. Midiksiv, since the Pasuk says Gabi Chiv Chatos, when the Pasuk is discussing somebody who's liable to bring a Karban Chatos, what does the Pasuk say? Me'am ha'aretz ba'asoisa, when somebody will go ahead and do one of the Averis, and it says ba'asoisa, when he does it. Ha'isas kula. The implication is he has to do the entire malacha. Ba'asoisa. He has to do it. Chayiv chatos. Then there's a chayiv chatos. V'loi ha'isas miktsasa. If you only do a partial malacha, there is no chayiv chatos. Similarly, we also darshan from the same pasuk. Me'ama aretz ba'asoisa. Yachid v'asoisa chayiv. If one person does the complete malacha, then there's a chayiv chatos. Shnayim v'asu. However, if two people do the malacha together, beturim, then they are not chayiv midaraisa. Then it's only nisa d'Rabbanan. When we call makay midarabanan aser, in both of these cases there is an nisa d'Rabbanan. Why? Because the chachamim were geyser shema yavoi kol echad ve'echad lasos malacha shlema. Because if we're going to let you do a complete malacha through the actions of two people, so the bottom line is two people will get together. And by both of by their teamwork, they're going to transport something from the Rishus HaYachid to the Rishus HaRabim, or vice versa. So they're going to think now that, all right, you know what, not so bad to move something from one Rishus to another Rishus, and they're going to come to do it alone. So for this reason, the Chacham made Gzeira, and there is an Issa d'Rabbanan. When is the Issa d'Raisa? Ois Cotton Beis. Kisha'oiker chayfetz min Rishus HaYachid. When you pick something up from the Rishus HaYachid, you take it to the Rishus HaRabim and put it down, you have an akira and a hanacha, that's when you have the chayiv d'Araisa. Says the Chavetz Chaim, you should know. The shame akira, when we use this word akira, which means literally to uproot. Lav dafka kisha oiker achefetz me'al gabi karka mamish. We don't need that you mamish have to uproot it from the rishus, meaning that it was laying on the floor in one rishus and you picked it up from the karka of that rishus. Ella afilu im haya achefetz munach bebegadav shalavush behen me'erev Shabbos. Let's say somebody was wearing his jacket on Erev Shabbos and he had his keys in his jacket in the pocket on Erev Shabbos. Unetoloi misham, and now you take the keys out of the jacket, upashet yadai lechutz, and you stretch your hand outside to the Rishus HaRabim, v'hinichai b'Rishus HaRabim, and you put the keys down into the Rishus HaRabim. So in the scenario that the Chavetz Chaim is discussing, it doesn't sound like the same kind of akira. When we use the word akira, so we envision you have a set of keys that are sitting on the ground in Rishus HaYachid, you picked it up from the Rishus HaYachid, you put it out to the Rishus HaRabim and you put it down. Says the Chavetz Chaim, that's lav dafka. Similarly, if the keys were in the pocket of your jacket that you were already wearing on Erev Shabbos when Shabbos came in, so you never even picked up the keys. The keys were in the jacket pocket the whole time. When Shabbos came in, they were in the jacket pocket. Now, after the beginning of Shabbos, you take the keys out of your pocket, you stick your hand out the door, and you put them down into the Rishus HaRabim. It sounds like it's a little bit less of an akira. Says the Chavetz Chaim, you should know, gam kein chayev. This would also be an issa daraisa. Because when the keys were sitting in your pocket on Erev Shabbos, it is as if they are sitting on the karka. Why? Because the clothing that you're wearing, they are bottled to your guf. They are totally subjugated to your guf. And the hanacha of your guf, the fact that your guf, your body, is at rest in a rishus, that is equal to the chayfetz that's in your pocket being at rest in the Rishus HaYachid. Umemela, and therefore it comes out, kishenetoloi misham, when you remove it from the pocket, chashav akira, that's called an akira. Similarly, kishoya chayfetz munach biyadai b'Rishus HaYachid b'Erev Shabbos, if you were holding the keys in your hand on Erev Shabbos, when Shabbos came in, upashat yadai lechutz, and you stick your hand out to the Rishus HaRabim v'nichai sham, and you put them down in the Rishus HaRabim, gam kein chayiv, that's also an issa daraisa. Because when it was resting in your hand, when Shabbos came in, chashiv kimunach agabe karka, it is akin to it being on the ground in the Rishus HaYachid, because you're holding it, and you're on the ground in the Rishus HaYachid. The yada v'gufay davar echad, because your hand and your body are one thing, and they are both at rest in the Rishus HaYachid. So when you take those keys and you move them out now to the Rishus HaRabim, you are oiker it from the Rishus HaRabim, from the Rishus HaYachid. You put it out into the Rishus HaRabim, and when you put it down, you're making your hanacha. And the same rules will apply when it comes to a hanacha, as we're going to see coming up. So, to sum up so far, the between the Mechaber and the Mishnah Berurah, what we've seen is that the Issa Daraisa is to make an Akira in one Rishus and a hanacha in another Rishus. That's the Issa Daraisa. You have an Issa Darabanan, even if you only make an Akira without a hanacha, or a hanacha without an Akira. You also have an Issa Darabanan if you accomplish both an Akira and a hanacha through the actions of two people. And you have over here, the Chavetz Chaim is bavarning that you should understand when we speak about an Akira from a Rishus, it doesn't mean that you have to necessarily pick it up in that Rishus, even if it was in your hand already when Shabbos came in. So you never picked it up on Shabbos. It was in your hand on Shabbos. When it's in your hand when Shabbos comes in, that means that it was at rest in the Rishus HaYachid when Shabbos came in. When you stick your hand out, you are oiker it from the Rishus HaYachid, you put it out to the Rishus HaRabim. If you put it down, you have accomplished both an Akira and a Hanacha, and that would be an Isser Da'araisa. Says the Mechaber Vayter, the top of Reish Aleph Amud Beis. Aval, however, Pashat Yodai Lifnim. Let's say somebody was standing outside in the Rishus HaRabim, and he's holding something. Pashat Yodai Lifnim B'chefetz B'yodai. He was holding something outside in the Rishus HaRabim. He stretches his hand into the Rishus HaYachid. So now, he's standing outside in the Rishus HaRabim. As long as he was standing outside in the Rishus HaRabim, the chayfetz that was in his hand was considered to be noch in the Rishus HaRabim. Now he sticks his hand inside into the Rishus HaYachid holding the chayfetz. Now, at this moment in time, the chayfetz is not noch in Rishus HaYachid because this person is not standing in Rishus HaYachid. He's standing in Rishus HaRabim. So we cannot say that the chayfetz is noch in Rishus HaYachid. It's not. At the same time, we cannot say that the chayfetz is still noch in Rishus HaRabim. It's not in Rishus HaRabim. How could it be noch in Rishus HaRabim? So, the chayfetz was noch in Rishus HaRabim. He removed it from the Rishus HaRabim by stretching his hand and bringing it into the Rishus HaYachid, but there's still no hanacha. What happens now? And now, this guy's friend, who's standing inside in the Rishus HaYachid, takes it out of his hand. Now, when that person standing in the Rishus HaYachid takes the chayfetz out of his hand, now it's in his hand. And he is standing in the Rishus HaYachid. So now the chayfetz is noch in Rishus HaYachid. So the second fellow did a hanacha in Rishus HaYachid. The first fellow did an akira from Rishus HaRabim. The second fellow did a hanacha in Rishus HaYachid.
Why didn't the second fellow do an akira from Rishus HaRabim?
Because once the chayfetz is in the Rishus HaYachid, you can't, no, it goes after his feet if they're both in the same Rishus. As long as they're standing in the same Rishus, then it goes after where he's standing.
Why isn't it considered hanacha? It's got to be someplace, so where is it?
It's not, it's in Rishus HaYachid, but it's not at rest in Rishus HaYachid. It's in the Rishus HaYachid, but it's not at rest in the Rishus HaYachid. The same way, if I walk into the Rishus HaYachid and I never put it down and I never stop walking, I didn't make hanacha. If I pick up something in Rishus HaYachid and I walk out into Rishus HaRabim and I never put it down and I never stop walking, and I walk straight through the Rishus HaRabim into another Rishus HaYachid, we'll see that might be aser, but I don't have an akira in Rishus HaYachid and a hanacha in Rishus HaRabim. It was in Rishus HaRabim, but it was never at rest in Rishus HaRabim. I never put it down, and I never stopped walking, so I never had a hanacha in Rishus HaRabim. So too over here. I was standing in Rishus HaRabim. I was oikerit from Rishus HaRabim when I stuck my hand into the Rishus HaYachid. But when it's in the Rishus HaYachid now, there's still no hanacha in the Rishus HaYachid. Because it can't be my hanacha. My hanacha is outside in the Rishus HaRabim. I can't say that the chayfetz is in Rishus HaRabim. It's not. The chayfetz is in Rishus HaYachid. But when the other guy takes it from me, he's making hanacha in Rishus HaYachid. Because his hand and his feet, his whole body are in Rishus HaYachid. So he's making a hanacha in Rishus HaYachid. So he's doing the hanacha.
I can understand when you're walking. So even though walking, I'm not so sure that it's accurate because while you're walking, your foot is on the ground all the time. They're not both off the ground.
No, but I never stopped.
What?
But I never stopped.
You haven't stopped.
I didn't stop. I'm moving.
Your foot is on the ground. You stop.
I didn't stop. I'm not stopped. I'm at motion. I'm in motion.
If your foot is
Constant motion.
If I took a little picture over here and I divided it, like every second a picture.
You would see constant motion.
Then you're standing. No, you're standing.
No, but it's constant motion. My foot's on the ground, but my foot's on the ground, but I'm still moving.
How long do you have to?
Look, I'm moving.
How long do you have to stop? Let's say you stop and you move right away. You stop for a second.
You stopped. You made hanacha. That's it. You stopped.
Yeah. So this
Yeah.
is a specific stop.
They talk about lamed lafush, to stop to rest.
Over here, it's stationary. It's not moving.
But it's not at rest. It's not munach in the Rishus HaYachid. The Mishnah Berurah is even going to ask more of a question. The Mishnah Berurah is going to ask like this. Normally, in order to have a hanacha, you need a hanacha al gabe makom choshev. You need a hanacha on a daled al daled. You don't have a daled al daled. Why? Because it goes bust to the feet. Why is it choshev? Because it goes bust on my goof and bust on my feet.
It goes to us feet. He made an akira from Rishus HaRabim.
No, because it's not in the Rishus HaRabim. It's not in the Rishus HaRabim. But it's not in the Rishus HaRabim. Yeah.
The next case we're going to see it's chashuv enough to make an
Yeah, let's see. Okay, let's go back to. All right, ice cut and gimel. Let's see as it develops. Ice cut and gimel. Oh, we didn't finish the mechaber. So in a Talei Chaveroi Bifnim, or the other case, Shepashat Yadai Lachutz V'Chevetz B'Yadai. The fellow standing inside in the Rishus HaYachid stretches his hand out into the Rishus HaRabim, holding a Chayfetz. So now, he made an Akira from the Rishus HaYachid. He went and he took the Chayfetz out from the Rishus HaYachid, and he put it out into the Rishus HaRabim. So he was Oikerit from the Rishus HaYachid, but he didn't make a Hanacha in the Rishus HaRabim. And now the second fellow who's standing outside takes it from him. So now he's making Hanacha in the Rishus HaRabim. Sheza Okar v'zehi niach. In both of these cases, one person did an Akira and one person did a Hanacha. Shneihem Peturim. In this case, both of them are Potter Midaraisa. Aval Osir Lasis Kain Midrabanan. But Midrabanan, there is going to be an Isser, like we said right away in the beginning of the Mishnah Berurah, in the beginning of the Siman, that there is an Isser Drabanan when the Malacha is accomplished through the actions of two people. Now let's see the Mishnah Berurah. Unitaloi Chaveira, Ritzainai Loimar, right? We finished the, Ritzainai Loimar. The Chavetz Chaim says, the Mechaber means to say, Shaloi Nosan HaMachnis L'Soich Yadoi. The person who was standing outside in the Rishus HaRabim, who stretched his hand inside into the Rishus HaYachid, he did not put it into the hands of the fellow standing in the Rishus HaYachid. Elohu lokach mimenu. The person standing in the Rishus HaYachid took it from him. If the person outside in the Rishus HaRabim would have put it into the hands of the one standing in the Rishus HaYachid, then that would be a Hanacha. So then he would have made an Akira from Rishus HaRabim, and he would make a Hanacha in the Rishus HaYachid when he puts it into the hands of the fellow standing in the Rishus HaYachid. So then he did an Akira and a Hanacha, that's the Chiv Daraisa. But that's not what he did here. Over here, the other fellow inside took it from him. The Nimtza, so it comes out, Sha'asa Harisha in Rak Akira Levad. The first person standing outside in the Rishus HaRabim made an Akira from Rishus HaRabim when he put the Chayfetz from the Rishus HaRabim into the Rishus HaYachid. The Hanacha Asa Hasheni. And the Hanacha was accomplished by the second fellow who was standing inside in the Rishus HaYachid. Va'afilu lo hinicha al gabe karka. And even if the fellow standing inside does not put it down on the ground in the Rishus HaYachid, El hishira biyada, he simply leaves it in his hand. Hanacha chashiva. That constitutes a hanacha. And if you look in the Sharet Tzion, Ois Katan Dalid, on the second line, Uritzainam loimar. This comes from the Magen Avram in the name of the Rambam. Uritzainam loimar. What they mean to say is, Tekevan sheyadai eitzel gufay b'rishus echad, that this fellow standing in the Rishus HaYachid, who took the chayfetz from the hand of the fellow from the Rishus HaRabim who put it in, now when he's standing in the Rishus HaYachid, his hand holding the chayfetz is together with his guf in one Rishus. So heavy hanachas yadai k'hanachas kolaguf. So the hanacha into his hand is similar to the hanacha of his whole body. The hanachas aguf k'hanachas chayfetz damya. And the hanacha of his guf is munach in the Rishus HaYachid. So his yad is munach in the Rishus HaYachid. So the chayfetz that's munach al yadai is munach in the Rishus HaYachid. So when he takes it from the hand of the guy in the Rishus HaRabim, what's he doing? He's making a hanacha in the Rishus HaYachid. So this is not an Issa Daraisa, it's an Issa Darabanan. So in both of these cases, the two people have a din of Pater Aval Aser. Zok the Mishnah Berurah and Ois Katan Dalid, Aval Aser, Hatam Kanal. The reason it's an Issa Darabanan is like we said, the Chavetz Chaim said right away in the beginning of the Siman, because you've accomplished the complete malacha through the actions of two people. Now, the Chavetz Chaim continues, and he says, V'hu adin, the same din would be true, Imasa Adam Echad Rak Akira Oy Hanacha Levad, Gam Kein Asa Midrabanan. Like he said earlier, if one person would make just an Akira, or just Hanacha, that would also be an Isser Darabanan. Ice cut and hay. No, ice cut and hay. Did we do that? One second. Okay, let's go a little weiter first. Which one is two? I saw two. You know what? If you hand me one, I didn't bring mine. It's behind you. It's right behind you. I saw
That's what
it.
we should learn, because that goes over my question. I think.
2. Let me see which one 2 was. Yeah, this is okay. If you want to take a look in the Taka, the additional footnote number 2, we can. I don't know if we could do the whole thing because it gets a little complex over here. We could do part of it. The Chen Mavur b'Gemara Shabbos. This that we said that I just read to you from the Shar Tzion, that since the person standing inside, his yad is together with his guf in Rishus Echad holding the chayfetz. The Chen Mavur b'Gemara Shabbos Gimel Amud Aleph sheyadai apshuta l'Rishus Acheres. When somebody's hand is stretched out into a different rishus, not where his guf is, nechesheves loy naich. The chayfetz that's in the other rishus is not at rest in the other rishus. The cause of Rashi Sham, Rashi says over there, Shalachein ha'ani shepashat yadai lefnim. When an ani who's standing outside stretches his hand from the rishus harabim into the rishus hayachid, v'nasan balabayis l'saycha, and now the balabayis puts something into his hand. V'haitzi ha'ani yadai l'rishus harabim, and now the ani brings it out into the rishus harabim. Potter is potter. So again, what's this case? You have a person standing outside in the Rishus HaRabim. He stretches his empty hand into the Rishus HaYachid. The guy standing inside in the Rishus HaYachid puts something into his hand, and now he brings it out. What's the halacha over there? The halacha over there is Potter Avalosser on the Ani. Why? Because when he removed his hand from the Rishus HaYachid, he did not make an Akira from Rishus HaYachid. Because Kol Zman, his hand was in the Rishus HaYachid, so his body is in one Rishus, in Rishus HaRabim, his hand is in another Rishus, in Rishus HaYachid, the chayfetz that's in his hand in Rishus HaYachid is not noch. It's in the Rishus HaYachid, but it's not noch in the Rishus HaYachid. So when he brings it out, he's not making an Akira from the Rishus HaYachid. The Balabayis who picked up the chayfetz in the Rishus HaYachid and put it into the Ani's hand, he's the one that made the Akira. The Ani only made a hanacha in Rishus HaRabim, Kevin Shaloi Akar Mimakom Munach, because he didn't take it from a Makom Munach. V'chein Mavur b'Taisus Sham. Now Taisus is going to go ask on this to somewhere else. So we'll do this. What?
He says later, Omnam.
All the way down here. Omnam im kaidim she'niach es hachayfetz b'Rishus HaYachid. You talking about that?
No. Adam Omed b'Rishus HaRabim.
No, I don't see.
That's the case we had.
Where are you?
A few lines down.
Amnam Adam ha'omed b'Rishus HaRabim. Somebody who's standing in Rishus HaRabim. V'notal chayfetz Amnam. Adam ha'omed b'Rishus HaRabim. Someone standing in Rishus HaRabim. V'notal chayfetz b'yadai me Rishus HaRabim. He stretches his hand with the chayfetz from the Rishus HaRabim. Who pashat es yadai v'chnisa l'Rishus HaYachid. He brings it into the Rishus HaYachid. V'nach ma'at, and now he stops a little bit. Lifnei shehinicha sham, before he puts it down. Harei zeh chayev, he would be chayev. Ve'ein oimrim shebetchila hunach hachayfetz b'yadai animtzeis b'Rishus HaYachid she nechsheves k'makom tor v'shav akar b'makom tor v'nich Rishus HaYachid atzma. 1 second.
Just because he stretched his hand and he waited 1 minute, he waited a second right there, then he's chayav.
1 second. I don't think that's true. 1 second.
If he's going to put it down later. Because it's not considered a makom too. So you see that he put it in Rishus HaYachid right there. Well, I don't understand this. He's saying he put it in Rishus HaYachid because he rested for 1 minute. That's what he's saying.
Okay, I got to see that Taisus. This is too complex for now. I want to see the Taisus inside. Okay, says the Mechaber Vayter on the third line, first word on the line. Ve'im pashat, we're on Reish Aleph Amud Beis. Ve'im pashat yadai lifnim. If somebody stretches his hand inside into the Rishus HaYachid, v'chayfetz b'yadai holding a chayfetz, v'hinichai l'soich yad kaveroi ha'omid b'fnim, and he puts it into the hand of the person that's standing inside. Or he stretches his hand inside. And he removes something from his chaver's hand, who who's standing inside in the Rishus HaYachid, v'hoitzi l'chutz, and he brings it out, shenimtza, so that it comes out, sheha'omed b'chutz levadoi okar v'hiniach. So now the person standing outside did the akira and the anacha. So again, one of these two cases over here, a person standing outside took a chayfetz from the Rishus HaRabim, he stretched it into the Rishus HaYachid, and he put it into the hands of the person standing inside. Not that the person inside took it from him. He put it into his hand. Or vice versa. Or he put his hand into the Rishus HaYachid, he took something from the hand of the Balabayas who's inside, and he brought it out. So now he did the Akira and the Hanacha. Now what the Mechaber is going to say over here is very interesting, and it's going to bring us to a very interesting discussion in the Mishnah Berurah. Who chayiv? He's chayiv because he made an akira in one rishus and anach in another rishus. So he did a complete as a daraisa. The chaveroi and his friend potter aval aser. His friend was over an issa d'Rabbanan, and the question is going to be, what issa d'Rabbanan did his friend do? Right? Think about this case. I'm standing outside. Somebody's standing outside. He takes a chayfetz. He doesn't do it. No chayfetz. Empty hand. He puts his hand inside, he takes something from the guy standing inside and brings it out. So he made the akira when he removed it from his hand, he brought it out to the Rishus HaRabim, he made hanacha. So he did a complete malacha. He did a complete malacha of Eitzah. He's over in Issa Daraisa. The guy inside was over the Rabbanon. What Rabbanon was he over? So let's see the Mishnah Berurah. Mishnah Berurah says a nice cut in hay. L'soich yad chaveroi. Guy stuck his hand from the Rishus HaRabim into the Rishus HaYachid, holding a chayfetz, and he put the chayfetz into his friend's hand in the Rishus HaYachid. V'af agav the kaimala the bein akiro bein anacha tzarich sheyeh makom shu arba al arba tefachim. Even though generally we say that an akira has to be from a makom choshev that's daled al daled, and hanacha has to be on a makom choshev that's daled al daled, and over here you don't seem to have that. Yadai shalodam chashuva karba al arba. The yad of a person has a din of daled al daled. That's straight out of a Gemara on Davav in Shabbos. Now, v'hoitzi lachutz. So a guy standing outside in the Rishus HaRabim, he sticks his empty hand into the Rishus HaYachid, takes a chayfetz from the guy in the Rishus HaYachid, and brings it out. So he said he's over a daraisa. He made an akira from the Balabayas' hand in the Rishus HaYachid. He brought it out to Rishus HaRabim, he made a hanach in Rishus HaRabim. That's it, it's a daraisa. This is true even if he never puts it down on the karka in Rishus HaRabim. Since he's holding it in his hand in the Rishus HaRabim, and he's standing in the Rishus HaRabim, it's as if it's standing on the ground, the chanal. Zion, pater aval aser. The person standing, the other party to this malacha is over in Issa d'Rabbanan. Says the Mishnah Berurah, Loi misham Isser Shabbos. This Issa d'Rabbanan that we're talking about over here is not an Isser Shabbos. The d'Rabbanan has nothing to do with Ilchas Shabbos. What's the Isser? Ela shemachshel es chaveroi. He is being machshel his friend, the goyrem loi, and causing him lahoitzi chayfetz or lahachnisai, by providing his open hand and allowing his chaver to take a chayfetz from Rishus HaRabim and to put it into his hand. He is being misayeh alidei over avera. He's helping this person accomplish an avera. V'yesh bazeh iser Torah misham liftei iver, and there would be over here, and this is daraisa of liftei iver. Now don't get confused. Now I know the Mechaber said that it's an issa d'Rabbanan, and the Mishnah Berurah right now seems to be saying it's an issa daraisa. We have to go further in the Mishnah Berurah. Ve'emu munach ba'ofen sham im afilu loy haya b'yadai haya yachal litloi. Let's say we're talking about the case where the person in the Rishus HaRabim stuck his empty hand into the Rishus HaYachid, and he took a chayfetz from the hand of the fellow standing in the Rishus HaYachid. Says the Mishnah Berurah, what if the chayfetz was located in a place where even if I wasn't holding it, it was right here on the table. I happened to pick it up from the table. So now he took it from my hand. If I wouldn't have picked it up from the table, he would have reached it on the table. He would have taken it from the table. So he could have accomplished this without me. I wasn't the direct geirim I wasn't machshel him to the extent that he could not do the Isser without me. He could have done the Isser with me. It happens to, without me. It happens to be he did the Isser with me, but he didn't need me. He could have done it without me. So therefore, says the Mishnah Berurah, Imul Munach, if the chayfetz that he took from the Rishus HaYachid to the Rishus HaRabim is resting in such a way, Shem afilu loy haya b'yadai, so that even if it was not in the Baal Habayis' hand, haya yachal litlai, the fellow from outside would have been able to take it. The loy ka'avar alifnei iver, so in that case you're not over alifnei iver daraisa, because he could have done it without me. Mikamakai Issa D'Rabbanan Ika. There still is an Issa D'Rabbanan involved in this. We know, and we learned this before in Chela Gimel, we know that even if a cotton oichel nevelos, if you see a cotton who's eating nevela, Bezdin mitzvah la'afrishay, Bezdin is mitzvah to stop him. Kol shekain gadol, so for sure, if a gadol is going ahead, and you see a gadol being over an avera, for sure you have to stop him. Shaloi yisayeh, definitely you shouldn't help him. So this is what the Mechaber meant when the Mechaber said that there's an Issa D'Rabbanan. When is there an Issa D'Rabbanan? If the chayfetz was munach in the Rishus HaYachid in such a way that the ani in the Rishus HaRabim would have been able to pick it up and take it out to the Rishus HaRabim, even without the help of the Baal Habayis who was holding it in his hand, so then there is no Issa D'Raisa of Liftei Iver, but there's an Issa D'Rabbanan of Misayeh Alidei Over Avera. And I think it's interesting to look at the Sha'ar Tzion in Ois Ches. The Sha'ar Tzion in Ois Ches says, brings down a rush from Shabbos Perek Aleph, Siman Aleph, V'lechora, Ma shekosav d'Rabbanan lav dafkahu. This that it says it's an Issa D'Rabbanan, it would still seem to be lav dafka. L'fima d'Issa b'brachas daf Yutes Amud Beis, from what we see in the Gemara in Brachas and Yutes Amud Beis, haroy l'chaveroi shu lavish kalayim. Somebody walks down the street and he sees his friend wearing shatnez. The tzarech livshait afilu bashuk. He has to go rip the shatnez off him, even if he's standing outside in the street. The person's going to be embarrassed. Umash b'sham Gemara, and the implication of the Gemara in Brachas is the lav takanta d'Rabbanan ba'almahu, that this is not a takana d'Rabbanan, that this is a daraisa that you have to take the shatnez off him. V'imkein hu adin b'inyanenu. So then the case should be the same in our case. Haloi mechuyev limchais b'yadai min haTorah kedei lahafrishay me'isser. When this guy sticks his hand into the Rishus HaYachid and he wants to go pick up a chayvetz, you're mechuyev midaraisa to be moicha and to be mafresh him from the isser. So how could you think that by the Baal Habayis holding the chayvetz in his hand, and now the other person, the ani from the outside, is going to be over daraisa of Shabbos. How could you think that that's only an Issa D'Rabbanan? You're right that this wouldn't be an Issa D'Raisa of Lifnei Iver. What is Lifnei Iver? Lifnei Iver is, I put the stumbling block in front of him. I was makshel him. You can't say that this is Lifnei Iver, because you can't say I was makshel him. He could pick up the thing from the table right here. So I wasn't makshel him. So the Issa D'Raisa of Lifnei Iver is not shaykh over here, as long as the ani could be over the Aver by himself. But still you have a D'Raisa that you have to stop him, so knock it out of his hand, to do something, but to stand there holding it and allow him to take it, shazikha be an Issa D'Raisa. I hear, but I mean, I guess we're talking about a case over here where it seems to be clear what the guy's doing. Venerally, Ashev, the Chavetz Chaim says we could answer this. When does the Gemara in Brachas say that by shatnez you're mechuyev to stop him in daraisa? Because over there you could stop him, you could rip the clothing off him. But if you don't have an active way to stop him, less pazachiv min haTorah, then you don't have a chiv to stop him. And over here we're talking about a case where he couldn't stop him. So it could be that what happened over here was like this. The guy stuck his hand from the Rishus HaRabim to the Rishus HaYachid to take a loaf of bread off the table. The Balabayas in the Rishus HaYachid grabbed the loaf of bread and didn't want to let him take it. But the guy ripped it out of his hand. He couldn't hold him back. The guy ripped it out of his hand. So then, there you go. Then there's no more Issa Daraisa. But then you can't say this is Rabbanan either, because then he would be an Oinus. So you can't say that he was actively trying to stop him, because then there wouldn't be an Issa Darabanan. So what exactly is the case over here where there's no Issa Daraisa because you couldn't stop him, but there is an Issa Darabanan? I'm not sure. The Kamash Malana Rosh, I feel Issa Darabanan, Issa Darabanan. There is because you Messiah him by holding it. So again, I don't know what the exact case that the Chavetz Chaim is talking about is, but it's an interesting Sharet Tziyun. Okay. Used to go what? Right, can't help him. We're going to talk about. We're going to talk about it right now. Ulamumar la'avodas kechavim. Well, this is talking about Ovid Avodah Zarah, but right. Ulamumar la'avodas kechavim. Also, lahishit kan kein dvar yisur. You're not allowed to give him a dvar yisur. Kamalu shar Yisrael, like to anybody else. Even to a mumar la'avodas kechavim, you're not allowed to give him a dvar yisur. Va'asa lahashel la'adam klei malacha. You're not allowed to lend somebody a kli malacha. So if your non-frum neighbor comes to you on Friday afternoon and he wants to borrow your circular saw, you can't lend it to him if you're choshish that he might do work on Shabbos. Unless it's a kind of a kli, maybe it's a kli shemalachta le'isr, but it's something that could be used for a heter also, and you could be toila that he's borrowing it from a lechus heter. But even then, the dafka b'davar amotzui, even that's only mutter for something that's normal, that's common. Avalam amalechas heter ain't motzei lasos. But if the malacha heter, if the mutter malacha that can be done with this tool is not common, ain't toilen ba. So if your non-from neighbor asks you if you could borrow your hammer, and you know he's building an extension on his house, you can't say to yourself, well, we know that a hammer is a klisha malachta le'isr, but it could also be used from a lechas heter because I could use a hammer to break open walnuts. You can't go be toila that he's using the hammer to break open walnuts. It's not a davar matzui. If it was a davar matzui, I'm trying to think of what a davar matzui would be with a keli. You want to lend somebody, I don't know, somebody wants to borrow a keli, and he could be using it le'isr, or he could be using it. Okay, somebody wants to borrow a sharp knife. Somebody wants to borrow a sharp knife from you. You're not mechuyev to go worry. Maybe he's using the sharp knife to go do an Issa Shabbos of some kind of cutting that's also on Shabbos. They're probably using it to cut a steak. I don't have to be choshev because that's a davar matzui. But it's a davar she'ena matzui. Guy wants to borrow your handsaw. You don't say, well, maybe he's using the handsaw because he has a Sheva Brachas challah that he wants to cut. That's not matzui.
I don't understand this whole idea of that.
What?
What do you mean a mumar? A mumar is a mumar, is a Jew. What is this?
Yeah.
So what do you mean you're not, you're allowed to say, yeah, you have to treat him like any other Jew?
Well, you're right. You say you're not allowed to.
What?
You're not allowed to give it to him. But you're allowed to be toiler. You're allowed to be toiler that's from Malachas Heter.
Even mentioning something like that.
What do you mean, why is he mentioning it? You mean, why would you think it's mutter?
Yeah.
Well, because I'm lending somebody a keli. Why am I mechuyev to be choshev what he's doing? I'm not choshev what he's doing.
He's talking before that.
Yeah.
What is he saying before that?
Olamomer lavos kechavim asa lahishik kan kein dvar yisur. Kamaylu shar Yisrael.
Why is he saying that?
What's the chiddush?
See over here in number 5.
Yeah.
A shark. שאין איסור לסייע למומה. ורק אם אין יכול לעשות את האיסור בלבד.
There you go. There you have your havamim.
דגו נורא שהגיע שעד שישראל, שפת ישראל, ובכל מקום האיסור לסייע ומדין חייבה.
Okay, so he said, "Ulamur malabadis kachava vasa la'ish kankim dar yiser kamar l'shar Yisrael vasa la'ashalad u'plei malachim u'chashad la'asis b'em malacha b'shabbos u'b'loi sheish little yasam amalachs heter v'davka b'dav ramatzay av amalachis heter ein matzay lasis ein tolama im loi mipnei darkei shalom." However, he brings over here from a Magen Avram that when it's a problem of darkei shalom, then you don't have to be chayshid. Oid kasav the loivid kechavim to a non-Jew leka iser l'sayeya b'midi da'asaloi. There's no iser, the Magen Avram says, to be misayeya a non-Jew in doing something that's aser to him. Kamai ever min achai l'reva poiskim. For instance, ever min achai. The guy is not allowed to do ever min achai. Is there a problem of being misayeya l'dei over avera by a guy? So over here the Magen Avram says no. Im loy dekai be'inyan she'ena yachal litlai. If it's talking about a case where the guy cannot possibly do that isser without you, then there would be an isser of liftei iver. So there is an isser of liftei iver by a non-Jew, if he can't do it without you. But if he has his own iver menachai, or he could just go across the street and buy his iver menachai, leka isura, then there is no isser. The Gra seems to be chaylik on this and hold that there is an iser. The chain pasach bepiskei tshuva sham b'shem shal tshuva with the Shmuel. The chain mitzadet bebirkei Yosef sham. Derech eretz loyma la'adam sha'isik b'malacha. It is common decency to say to a person who is doing his work, titzlach malachtecha. You should be successful in your work. Va'afilu loyma gelulim, and this is true even to a guy. So you're walking on the street, and there's a guy doing some carpentry work outside the house. It's common derech eretz to look at him and say, "You should have a good day. Hope it comes out good." But if somebody is doing meleches iser, also lo malakach. So you walk outside, and your non-from neighbor is doing some work on Shabbos. You don't tell him, "Oh, I hope it comes out nice." That you don't do.
What is the
Okay, we're gonna stop over here, but yeah.